Hey guys, it's Sophie Joel, singer, vocal coach. I also own a multiple six-figure vocal coaching studio here in Nashville, Tennessee, where I teach singers and other voice coaches how to master their mixed belt. So your students can just sing anything and you can sing anything. Even if you don't currently feel comfortable with your mixed belt, but you guys have been asking me about this, so I wrote some notes down because I don't want to forget anything. Because a lot of you are asking, okay, how do I figure out what's going on with a singer's voice? What's missing in their voice? How to help them improve faster? How to transform their voice? And at this point in my career, I've been teaching 18 years. I can do this in 4 minutes. I can find their voice type and completely figure out what needs to be done to make them the greatest and most confident singer in 4 minutes. Of course, me and the singer, we have to kind of work on all the things I'm going to give them to do, and that takes time. But I already know which direction I'm going to go with them and what I can do to help in the first 4 minutes. This has given me such confidence as a teacher. And, for yourself as a singer, if you can demonstrate all the sounds that you're going to want them to make and you have access to your own mixed belt with confidence, that changes the game as well. All right, so let me break this down. Here's the thing, you cannot teach someone mixed belt or really anything else about their voice until you know what their voice type is. Mastering your mixed belt or your voice in general is not a one-size-fits-all approach. It requires tailored training that is very specific to the person's vocal needs. Okay, how are you possibly going to guide someone's voice, especially of the opposite gender, if you don't know that crucial step? You don't even know what exercises to give them. So I'm answering these questions now because you guys have been asking me. And this is actually going to make your career explode too, because used to I charged $50 an hour and it would take me weeks of stumbling around to try to figure out what was missing in a singer's voice and how I could help. Now I charge $250 an hour because I know this in 4 minutes now. We get straight to it. I'm not wasting any time. So my career as a singer, but also as a vocal coach, has expanded considerably as I became better at finding their voice type quickly. All right, so we're going to be looking at 5 different vocal categories, okay? This is how I measure. I don't just measure, are you a soprano or are you a baritone? I'm measuring 5 deep categories. The first one is how tight does the singer's vocal cords squeeze when they sing? Is it like, ah, or is it like, ah, where they don't squeeze at all? All right, the second category is which vocal register do they tend to be more dominant in, chest voice or head voice? And then I'll show you the third resonating cavity that is the third register that's so confusing for people. I'll show you that in a sec. The third category is how high or low their larynx tends to be. If it's high or low, it can considerably change the tonality of someone's voice. It can make them sound like a bad singer, even if everything else is right, but the larynx position is off, it'll make them sound like a bad singer. And it's the quickest way to fix someone's tone. The fourth category is stamina. How many songs can they sing before they get tired? The fifth category is the transition note. Which note does their voice tend to trip on or like skip on, okay? So let's go through each one. The thing that I do to measure their voice at the beginning is I have them sing me a song, of course. I can learn a lot by listening to them, but watching them sing too. Then I have them do an ah on an octave scale. Ah, ah, ah. Okay, and this doesn't really manipulate their voice or show them anything. It doesn't really teach them anything. I'm just stripping away everything that they might try to do or manipulate their voice with. And so it shows me their raw voice. This is extremely helpful. So that's the one exercise that I do, and I never go back to that exercise after that first lesson, okay? All right, so then let's talk about the first category, squeezy versus breathy, how tight their vocal cords tend to squeeze together. So someone who has a very tight squeeze between their vocal cords, you could probably tell when they do the ah for you. They're going to say, ah, ah, ah. And you can already tell that's really causing a lot of issue for their voice. Someone who doesn't have a lot of squeeze, they're going to be like, ah, ah, ah. They're going to start to sound really breathy and kind of, like their vocal cords just kind of don't have any traction, okay? And this is important to know. In fact, I have a whole module on this in my course, How to Master Teaching Mixed Voice, because This right here will fix so many issues in a singer's voice. If you fix this one thing, it's responsible for about 80% of the issues or the things that singers run into with their technique. So I have a whole module on it because it's that important to understand. And then in my little add-on that you can get with the course, it's called the Teacher's Toolkit. It's 99 plus exercises that I've developed so you know exactly what to do with each singer. Those exercises are broken down based on, is the singer squeezy? Are they more breathy? And all the other categories, so you know that you're doing the right exercise for that particular vocal issue. And it's even broken down by gender, male and female examples in 2 different ranges, so you know where to start and where to end. So it's a great companion to the How to Master Teaching Mixed Voice course. All right, the second category is what vocal register are they most comfortable in? Most singers will be more comfortable either in chest voice or head voice, which is kind of like the downstairs of your house, the downstairs of your voice, or the upstairs of your voice, okay? So a chest voice dominant singer might go, and you can tell they're getting louder with each higher note. Sometimes their mouth is like wider and wider and wider. And it's belty, but it's not comfortable belt. It doesn't sound great. It's like, stop screaming at me. It's not like a comfortable, very controlled, emotional mixed voice. That's a different thing. I think most singers and teachers have the wrong idea of mix. It's kind of like they think, okay, the goal is to belt. You should be able to belt. If you're good enough, you can really belt. But if you're not quite good enough, then you have to resort to mixed voice. I don't see it that way. To me, the healthiest belting, the most amazing, the most emotional, the most guttural, the most controlled and consistent belting is mixing. So in order to really mix belt, you're going to have to develop a third vocal register. I said there's 3, not 2. Because chest voice and head voice, they're the downstairs and the upstairs. They're designed to be separate. They're separated by a bone. It's kind of like my house. I live in a 2-story house. If the downstairs and the upstairs are kind of blending together, that's a structural issue with the house. There's something wrong. So the idea that chest voice and head voice can be blended together to create a mix, this is wrong. What you actually need is a staircase that you can maneuver between the chest and the head voice seamlessly. And you're actually going to be blending the chest voice with this staircase or blending the head voice with this staircase. That's what you're mixing, those registers. This staircase has a really terrible sound. It's like, ha! It's really whiny. Ha, ha! It's gross by itself, but we're not going to use it by itself, okay? Kind of like, you probably wouldn't just drink oil, but you're going to put your oil when you're making a cake, you're going to put that as one of the ingredients. You probably wouldn't, eat sugar by itself, but in a cake mixed with all the other ingredients, it's perfect. Same thing, okay? So this little downstairs, that chest register, that's, if they're more comfortable there, you know that you have to develop this register and this register in order for them to get the fullness of their voice. And if they're more head voice dominant, particularly someone who's been in choir or has studied classical music, they might be more comfortable up here. You're going to need to develop this one and this one for them to get the fullness of their voice. And then for the right song and the right moment, you might blend these 2 together, or you might blend these 2 together. Like if I'm singing a Whitney Houston song, if I try to sing it in straight chest voice, don't make me close one. Not comfortable. Like that hurts me. And it probably hurts you too. But it also would be the right feel to do it in head voice. Don't make me close. Not the right thing. So for that, it's really belty, it's really strong. So I'm going to blend chest voice with my staircase. That with the ha. Don't make me close one more door. And you can feel kind of that mixing in with that chest. But if I were to sing like a Sarah Bareilles song, for instance, or like a Disney song, I would need this lighter mix, even like a Billie Eilish song, okay? So it would be like, the one thing that I still know is that you're keeping me down. You can hear where that head voice is blending with that staircase, so it's kind of making it pillowy, it's diffusing it, okay? All right, so the third category is the larynx position. This can utterly make or break someone's vocal tone. So if I have a high larynx position, this can, and everything else is correct in my voice, but that larynx position is high, it makes it sound weak, thin, kind of like a kid or something. It'd be like, don't make me close one more door. My tone is off, okay? Everything else is correct. It's like I have a big mixing board and all the different knobs that control each of the different parts of my voice. Everything else is where it's supposed to be, but that larynx position, that knob is offline. If it is not in the right place, my tone is gone. So if I lower the larynx like the difference between those two sounds kind of like a cat, meow, or a dog, woof, woof. High larynx, low larynx, same note. High larynx, low larynx, totally different tone. So by lowering that larynx, I can get a totally different tonality. It can sound big and full, even though I'm not really shouting or doing anything extra to create more sound. Don't make me close one more door. You feel the richness in that. This, such a quick fix for a bad vocal tone. So I have a whole module on that as well because this is so important. And this is like the flavoring. Once you get someone's technique down in their mix belt, then sometimes it still sounds a little too whiny. A lot of singers are they have an adverse reaction to that sound. They're like, but it doesn't sound good. It might be easy, but it doesn't sound good. So this is what fixes that. So this is why I have a whole module on it. Okay, the fourth thing is stamina. Basically, I just talk to them. How many songs can you sing, before you get tired? Because I want them to tell me in their words. But I already know if they have a problem with stamina, because if I know the first three categories, I already know so much about their voice. If they come to me and they have a squeezy voice and a chest voice, like a chest voice dominant voice, and if their larynx is high, I already know each of those things are stripping them of stamina and they're wearing out fast. If they squeeze, they're gonna wear out so quick. If they're singing in straight chest voice, that's like driving your car where you have 5 gears. You have options for 5 gears, but you're only using the first gear the whole trip. It's gonna wear you out completely. Same thing, when you sing with a high larynx, it kind of adds this pinch that adds a lot of strain and tension in the neck and in the jaw area. So if I already know those first 3 categories, I can already guess where their stamina is. All right, and vowel shapes have a lot to do with stamina too, and I have a whole module on that inside the course too, because if you don't have the right vowel modifications, you can actually be draining your vocal stores or your energy, and you're actually wearing out super quick, sometimes twice as fast as you normally would with the right kind of vowel modification. So, all right, the 5th category is the transition note. This is where the voice tends to break or flip or have that obvious little, that switch. And I actually created a whole bonus section inside the course, How to Master Teaching Mixed Voice, called the Voice Crack Crusher. And this is where I give my secrets for erasing the vocal break, because yes, you can actually erase it. I've literally done this with thousands of singers at this point. So the vocal break is basically created when it's like, when that transition, that basically the pressure is built up between the vocal cords on that transition note, and then you eventually hit a ceiling where you can't go any higher, and then you have to end up releasing all of that tension at one time. Okay? So this is really frustrating, and it's the source of a lot of insecurity for a lot of singers. Used to be me, but now I can seamlessly belt all the way through that whole transitional section that would normally cause me so much anxiety. And sometimes I would even change vocal keys, like the key of the entire song, because I would try to work around that little breaking issue. But if you know how to do this for your student, if you know how to completely basically prevent from building up the pressure to begin with in the wrong way, then there's no need to suddenly, it's like if you fill a canister with hot air, eventually that top has to go pop. Eventually it can't take any more. But if you know how to avoid that that improper buildup of pressure to begin with, then there's no need to flop through it or flip through it. So now it's you can just keep going. It's so wonderful, and it gives me so much confidence as a singer, also as a teacher, to know that I can handle this breaking area and I can actually truly fix it for singers. It's not just a, hey, just try it again. It's actually a fix. It's getting to the root of the problem. So, all right, as I do break all of these down, I'm going to link those 2 resources that I talked about in the description because I have found them massively helpful for just giving me confidence that I can handle any sort of vocal issue. I can handle any sort of student, male or female, no matter what their setback is, no matter what their bad habit is. I can find it and I can truly give them something transformational in 4 minutes. So I'm going to link those below. How to Master Teaching Mixed Voices, my course for teachers about the mixed belt. And the kind of the companion to that is the audio examples of all of these exercises that I've been developing for 18 years and that have proven they have consistently gotten amazing results for my students. This is 99 plus exercises, the teacher's toolkit. I think it ended up being like 149 exercises or something crazy. So there's audio examples of all of them. And then, of course, you have a printable written list. So I keep mine like on my desk as I'm teaching so I can just kind of glance over and be like, oh, yeah, that's the exercise. That's the exercise that's really helpful for, a chest voice dominant squeezy singer who's trying to find their mixed belt. So I have like that instant list right in front of me because I can't possibly remember all the exercises in the world, right? Okay, I hope this was helpful. Leave me a comment. Let me know if this was helpful, if there's any other topics that you want me to cover. But thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.